Do you want to start doing reels on Instagram, but feel like you have no clue as to where to start? And let's just be honest, it is a distraction. It's the place to go for a distraction, that and probably Facebook. And so today we're going to talk about the real deal on Reels from an ADHD newbie and how I was able to get over 1 million in reach in just my very new baby account, okay? And so I'm going to give you a couple tips that I have personally found and hopefully help you to try out Reels if you want, okay? I am not trying to make you feel like you have to show up in all the places. I definitely still believe podcasting is the place that creative rebels and ADHD entrepreneurs can use their strengths and naturally show up. Let's be honest here. You can show up in your PJs. You can show up totally without showering, however you want with podcasting. You're able to utilize your strength in knowing so much about so many things, as well as being a messenger to help others. It's also going to show a catalog for you and to everyone else as to what you know so you can establish authority and build an audience. So I still want you to prioritize podcasting. And if you need help with that, definitely come over to Podcast School for Squirrels Instagram and let's hang out there. I give free tips and even a few reels lately so that you can really become so knowledgeable and get the tech out of the way and just start telling your story, owning your hard stuff. I believe that podcasting can really help you. And so if you are feeling called to do it, I want to empower you to do that. You can also come to my free Facebook group called Plan Your Podcast Rebellion. You can just search that and come and find us there as well. Or shoot me a DM, info@angelmcilhaney.com for my email, or a DM on Control the Chaos Mama or Podcast School for Squirrels. And so I just wanted to preface that. But if you're wanting to try Reels, I do want to tell you a couple things that I learned recently as a newbie. I feel like a lot of times we'll get these tips and tricks that are so over our heads and so just not on a newbie level that it can be overwhelming before we start. So if you are wanting to start Reels, first of all, the first step that I did was to start watching some. And so I would watch them, maybe set a timer if you feel like that could be a rabbit hole, but start watching them and seeing what other people are doing. Not necessarily to copy everybody. I do think trends is a way for you to start kind of like just doing it, and then you can start getting more creative. I've always said this, but I follow This is Virginia Kerr. She did a really great episode for us early on where she taught us really how to not be afraid of video. So if that is something that you want to start doing, I definitely would go follow her, listen to that episode, and then utilize this one so that you can get started. So let's get started. So first what I did that helped me is I made a Instagram that was solely to do with a very niched topic so that I wouldn't have to think about what do I want to post. So even on my Control the Chaos Mama podcast Instagram, it's kind of like we should talk about many things on this show. Yes, it's ADHD, it's who you are, and all of the things that embody that. It's motherhood. It is so much about self-awareness and just so many things under that umbrella that the podcast is that could leave me overwhelmed as to what to post. So I actually made a new one that is called Podcast School for Squirrels. It is based around my signature offer of helping people to start, produce, and manage a podcast and avoid the overwhelm. It's all about simplifying with podcasting and utilizing the content that you produce there in all the other places so that you can just know what to post or what to do your reels on. So if that is helpful for you, you could make a new Instagram that is around your offer so that you know exactly, specifically what you're going to post about. Otherwise, just know it in your head and just start posting it, okay? And so first of all, it would be that for you to it helped me to zero in on my quote unquote niche. I know that's a bad word sometimes for us. And I want you to know that when I got this huge amount of reach, it was from posting one reel a day in that first 6 days. Now, then I did take a couple of days off and it definitely plummeted. So don't get stuck in the numbers. Just start posting and you'll probably be fine. And so it did make it to where at first I was extending the reach like it was crazy, but I wasn't gaining followers. So then I started engaging in other people's content and then they could see my stuff and then I did gain followers. So that's something to think about too. You could do a hashtag search and start searching for things that your person would probably have in common with yours. For instance, for me, podcasters or multi-passionates or ADHD entrepreneurs. And then you engage in their content, chances are they're like, oh, I want to be your friend too. And then they'll like or and follow your stuff. And that is how you get followers. So the good thing about Reels is it's going to make you more discoverable in the Discover tab. And so people who aren't already on your radar or following you, they'll be able to discover you and find you that way. And also prioritizing of the Reels or video has been announced by Instagram. So you might as well give it a try. Now, I'm more of a Facebook person, so take this with a grain of salt, but I hope this helps somebody. So next up, what I want you to do when it comes to doing your Reels is know that, don't worry, it's not as good as the podcasting where you can be totally hidden and have just your voice out there, but you can utilize some effects, okay? So don't worry and think that you have to get all like done up and, fix your hair and put on whole face makeup. It's okay. You don't have to do that. There's some effects. And then, there's even a little beauty filter thing. You can crank that baby all the way up if you want. It all depends. Recently, I have a sick kid, so sleep is in lack. So I've been putting that baby up. So the next thing, what I want you to do is so you've looked at other people's stuff to get kind of inspiration. And then the second stage of that is I would start saving them, the ones that you like. You could also send them to yourself if you have that other account. I've done that as well. I've even recorded my screen and put them in a note and put the things that I would say in there with the audio. And so that's helped somewhat too. That way it's almost like I'm processing, like, here's what I would say at this thing if I was to do this one. And then if I want to go create, and I feel like it, then I would go and do it right during that time. Know that you're going to probably have more energy and more drive to be front of camera if you are in your follicular or ovulatory phase. If you are new to cycle syncing, go back to episode 35 and 60 so you can learn more about that. But just know that it's natural that throughout the month, there are certain times where you want to be around people and front and center. You're going to be more magnetized and magnetism to you, more charming, all the things, just naturally. So use the nature and try to plan according to that if you can. Now, the next step, what I would do now that you've kind of gotten your ideas around like what you might want to do and almost made it towards your content or your niche, maybe you can utilize some of the topics that are already in your podcast so that you don't have to think about all the different things that you are going to create, and it will just be easy. Like the content part is there. Now you just need to do the delivery. So what you're going to do is you're going to put try this sound whenever you are ready. Or you could type in the sound and get it. And then you are going to usually just kind of lip sync the content at first. And yes, you can totally do this with like 100% your own videos, but I think this is a good way for you to start. And know that if it is too fast, you can go, this is something I very newly learned. You can go over to the left and you'll see where it says like 2x, 3x, 5x. If you hit 2x, it's actually going to slow it down. But then whenever you hit play, it does like speed you up. And so that's one way to help your lip dubs kind of line up. Another thing is you can, as I mentioned before, use the effects tool. You can also kind of pause your clips. Now, I did learn recently that around 6 seconds for a reel is ideal. You can also, of course, add words, and you can adjust the slider when you want the words to pop off or pop, on. Now, if you want to be really with it, you could actually do those steps in the beginning where you kind of know the content that you want to put, the reels that you like. And then what you could do is go into Canva and you could type up a cover. And this would make it really aesthetically pleasing. I do not do this, but it sounds good. So if you go into Canva, you could have your all your branding colors on there, and you could make a cover like ADHD and reels, or and reels, ADHD newbie doing reels. Could be this one. And then I can make it in my branding colors. I could even copy that and just change the title, copy it, change the color or the title, and then have those on my phone. And it will have a time when you're creating your reel where it'll say like add a cover. And if you wanted, you could add a cover, and then it'll give you that person when they come to your page, they'll see what that reel is about without having to click on it. And that probably would up the amount of people that see your reel too. Okay. And so, let's see. The next thing that I would probably do is before you post, and this is true for Facebook too, before you post, if you did go and engage and comment on other people's things that would like your stuff, following the hashtag or different things like that, then that would probably help a lot so that whenever you do post, more people can see it. Another thing that you can newly do that I've been doing is you can add a collaborator. So in this case, I've been adding my other account, which is the Control the Chaos Mama. And what it does is once you approve it, then it will make it onto their feed as well. It would be a good opportunity for you to collaborate with other entrepreneurs too in this way. So it's on both of your wall, and you can also tag people. So if you tag different, for instance, say I did one on Reels and I tag Virginia or different people who I know just do awesome Reels, then it would also make it to where they see it and then they could like it as well. So those are some tips to kind of utilize that from an ADHD newbie. Now, know that I still believe that you should have podcasting be your main thing, but in the way that you want to share that, if this helps you to be able to have that dopamine hit of something new, exciting, then I think that you should go ahead and try Reels. I think that it's not necessarily distracting as well as, because I think it's a two-way street. There's people on Instagram that maybe don't know about your podcast, and there's probably people on Facebook that don't know about your podcast. And so anytime you want to have something new and exciting there, as long as you're still doing your podcast, and I think that it's still valuable and good. So I would like to leave you guys with that. And I hope that you found this episode helpful. I would love to see your reels. So come and find me and tag me in them if you would like. Podcast School for Squirrels or Control the Chaos Mama. And that way I can show them some love and share them as well. Wishing you joy and abundance, Angel, and getting it out there.